digestive cookies.
Digestive cookies. Okay.
You know the like weird ovular baby cookies?
I certainly do. It's good to see you all again. Welcome back to another game of Skyfall 5e. How's everybody doing?
All right.
Pretty good.
Fantastic.
Says the guy that was late. Jeez. So, in our last session, you guys had managed to get very, very lucky, actually. It was the first session of the game, and you quickly pulled ahead of all of the other groups, lucking out on a few rolls, and uncovering a very, very ornate and like pristine rapier from a crash, which has also started a couple of mysteries. And you guys have, since then, kind of left your store, have made some sales and some purchases here and there, and have gone around to try and see if you could find some more scrap from the now deceased Mogane airship, which had crashed reportedly over in the jungles. Partway through the streets, you had managed to find a few kids that were playing with some of the wreckage, and luck once again fell into your lap as you bartered for a few silver a piece of a airship engine that you estimate is probably worth about 50 gold. On the way back, though, it seems that your little bit of fortune did not go unnoticed, and upon making your way down a dark city street headed back for your little workshop, were ambushed by a bunch of undercity ruffians, as I've labeled them here. There was a little bit of dialogue with them, where they kindly asked that you donate that part for city maintenance and tax purposes, but you chose not to. And now, I must ask that you all roll initiative. Let's see here. Also, for anyone who's watching stream, if they missed it the other day, there is now the dice camp, which is returned. Oh yeah, these skills are fucking huge. I forgot about that. Let me shrink these a bit. Does that make more sense? Yeah, that's better. Okay. There we go. Let's see who is first.
I know who's last.
Relic, what are you doing over there?
I'm making sure. I'm very ready for this combat. Taking my time. Mm-hmm.
I'm missing somebody on the bar here.
Erlebold.
Oh, I have to put my thing on the bar.
Put your thing on the bar.
It's 22.
Nice. You're going first there, Erlebold. It's clear that these ruffians standing in front of you have no interest in letting you go past until you give up the part. And I think it was Colcoat who said something to the effect of, "Go fuck yourselves," and they drew their weapons.
It wasn't quite that, like, blunt.
Yeah, basically.
You said the trade wasn't happening, and they seem to have decided that violence is the next logical step. What do you want to do there, Erlebold?
So, do any of them shields, or like clearly have shields?
No, most of them are wearing commoners' clothes. Some of them have like little tatters of leather armor and whatnot on them. But they're not particularly well equipped. It seems most of them have either daggers or swords at the ready.
Sharpshooter dart throw at Undercity Ruffian right here. Let's fuck them up. Fuck. Alright, so that's a 12.
You gotta roll it across the board, man. It just
Oh,
ain't
I
right.
do?
Yeah.
Alright,
Come on.
alright, that's better, that's better.
Start pressing R. No R's here.
There you go.
Hell yeah. That's a 17. Yes, 7.
That definitely hits. Roll damage.
Alright, so that's...
Isn't that 1d4
Ooh.
plus 13?
It's a 1d4 plus 13. 4. Oh man. That's 4. So that's 17 damage.
I'd like you to
Holy
make an
God.
intimidation check, please.
Oh my god. Alright, let me just roll this one. Nat 20.
Okay.
Oh man.
They all pull their weapons, and one of them steps over towards you, Erlibald. He pulls out a sword, raises it above his head, and then with a single flick of the wrist, you send a dart flying, and it just goes straight into his eye socket, and the sword falls from his hand, and he just falls dead to the ground instantly. And the three people all just look at each other, and then they just go to run out and disperse in the streets. Do you guys chase after them, or you let them go?
Cowards.
No, just-
all of them.
Go look at him like, what the? How the?
Alright, you guys are no longer in combat.
Can I just yell as they're waiting real quick? Count yourselves lucky. It was just one this time.
You just hear footsteps, like, going off into the distance.
Hey, nice throw, Earl. Impressive.
Right, that was quite
That was
impressive.
a very
They
good
would have
throw.
They would have stood a better chance had they wielded a superior weapon.
Right, I don't think they would have.
Perhaps.
Your skills are vastly improving. I'm quite stunned.
Well, a master such as myself can never slack in a fight.
Well, you don't
This is
agree
true.
to help a man find the golden dart of legend if he does not have the skill to wield it.
This is true.
Quite true.
Well, should we hide this body?
There's just a small pool of crimson, like, forming under his head.
Why would we hide it?
Yeah, just take your dart back and leave it to be cleaned up. It's not our trouble.
Yeah, so he's gonna walk over and pluck out the dart from this man.
Sure. You get the dart back, it's still intact.
Yeah, what is the street around us right now? Like, what is the landscape of sort of the alleyway that we're in?
So the area that you're in is a, like one of the busy sort of slums. These are just different random abodes. They look like shacks, more or less, and there's a little dirt road traveling between them.
Okay.
You're neither at the top or at the very lowest portion of the Undercity. You're kind of like in the middle.
Kind of don't want to leave a dead body just laying out in the middle of the road.
Lucian, do we know what generally happens with dead bodies here?
Yeah, someone will probably report it, and the guards will likely take it away. Someone will probably loot the thing too if you guys don't.
Well, if we really need to, I suppose we could drag it to the guards. I don't want to touch it though, it's all bloody.
I mean, I wouldn't want to bring someone that we just killed to the guards.
Yes, that would be quite unwise, I think.
Right,
Yeah,
what
so-
we can do is, if you want to check his pockets, go for it. And then, dirt road, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mold earth and, like, right beside his corpse, just, like, move 5 feet of earth out of the way.
Just make like a little grave.
Yeah, basically, I'm moving it out of the way. I'm like, as soon as we're done, we can, hide it.
Is that the plan?
Anyone opposed?
Well, I don't think we've done anything wrong, but if you must.
Well, I'd rather not leave a decomposing body in the middle of the street.
Colcoat, I'd like you to make a perception check, please.
Ooh, can I also participate in that?
Not in
That's
this one.
not good.
Okay.
I want to say 7, but that might be higher. 8.
There's a loud noise directly beside your head, like, and right behind you there. And when you turn around, you see what looks like the window has been flung open, and there's a rather portly lady there from the other side of the window, and she kind of leans on her windowsill from that building that's just beside you there, and gives you like an index to a thumb, like OK symbol there. Do you know what I mean?
Like, she's cool with it? Like, she's not gonna rat us out?
Second. She gives you one of these.
Thank you for the
Ah,
symbol.
yes. Did you see my friend's throw there? Quite
Nice work,
precise.
boys.
Alright, was he a rapscallion?
She kind of looks over and she goes, "Yeah, stealing petty things around here all the time. Here, for your trouble." And she just flicks you like 2 copper pieces.
Cold coat?
I'll hand him over to Earl.
Right, well, should,
Miss, do you mind
anything-
if we just leave this here? Can you let the guards know next time they come by?
She nods to you and she says, "Yeah, I'm sure they'll be by later."
Right, that solves that then. And just get mold earth and move the earth back into the road. Sorry for messing up your road.
Ah, it was messed up anyway.
We're
Fair.
happy to protect the good people of our city.
You know,
Right.
between you and me, I heard that they're paying people to take out these let's just say petty thieves.
Oh, and who is paying?
A couple of bounty boys from a bit lower in the city.
You wouldn't happen to know who these men are. Perhaps we could pay them a visit.
She gives you a smile, Colcoat, and she says, "So long as you take care of my neighborhood first."
Well, it's our neighborhood too, of course.
Oh, you boys live here.
We're from around the neighborhood.
You see that she looks over at you, Mackinac, and she goes, "You're rather fancy looking for this part of town."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we haven't quite made our way in the world yet. Working on it.
She gives you guys a smile and she says, "Well, it's just down there," and she gives you directions to a part of town which, sure enough, is very low in the Undercity. In fact, you guys have heard rumors that there are tunnels that leave from those parts and actually go into like underground caverns and things like that. They're always barred off, but there's not a lot of people that choose to live there because sometimes there's sightings of, let's just say, Underdark type creatures that make their way around there.
Well, we appreciate the information. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, Belinda.
Well, I am Colcoat, and these are my companions here. Pleased to meet your acquaintance.
She gives you like a really big smile, and you can see her cheeks go all rosy there, and she leans out the window and goes to shake your hand.
And if you ever find anything that's worth repairing, bring it to Catman Robotics.
She pauses for a
I'll,
second, and you can tell by the way that she's kind of looking off into the distance that she has no idea what you've just said. But she looks to you politely and kind of gives you a smile and a nod.
When she puts her hand out to like shake hands, I'll misinterpret it and put my head down to get a scratch.
I'm gonna roll for her. She like holds out her hand, and when you do that, she kind of like pauses for a second and then looks over at you guys like she's kind of like confused and doesn't really know what your friend's doing.
Just go like, just kind of nudge, just like, and do like the sort of like scratching motion with my hand, just like real subtly, just like, just pat.
She gives you like a pat on the shoulder there, Colcoat, and leans back into the window.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, I don't want to be seen talking to you too much about this, but remember what I said, and go talk with those bounty boys over there. You boys have a good day.
Yes, you as well. We won't keep you from your beauty rest.
She gives you a smile, and the window closes, and you notice as well that the blinds are then drawn afterwards. She like covers them up, and you can see that most of the people on the street seem to have done the same thing.
Right, a little bit of a sketch area that we've walked into.
It comes with living in this kind of town.
That's true. Should we head homeward to find?
Yes, so let's get this indoors before someone else tries to jump us.
Right.
Okay. You guys are back off to the workshop?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
I-
no.
Oh yeah.
I normally write at the end of the session what time we ended. Do you guys remember what time it was when you went looking out for these parts and whatnot?
It was pretty late. Like
Yeah,
pretty
this is
late
later
in
at
the
night.
Evening? Okay.
At the same time, not a whole concept of time underground.
So, it's getting to that time in the evening, and you guys make your way back. It makes sense that you would run into those kind of people, given that most folk are probably turning in for the evening. Not as many on the street there, at least the ones doing honest business. But you guys make it back to your workshop just fine. Find that, key works just fine, and you step in, and everything is as you left it. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I don't know about you, but it's been a long day. I think I need myself a cat nap.
Right, yeah, it's been one of many trials and tribulations. Let's hopefully wake up in time to find our friend.
Of course.
I guess we'll lock up that part we found in the back with our other materials and whatnot.
Okay.
And I'm assuming if we live in like a shady town, sort of, we probably keep watch at our shop, would we, or we just not care?
You definitely would know if somebody broke in, unless they were really sophisticated about it. You do have a proper lock, and you would probably hear the window smash, that kind of thing.
I guess
don't
it
know
is
if-
pretty small, yeah.
I don't know if you would be paranoid enough that you'd want to do watches. If you do, perfectly fine by me. You can do rotations the same way that you normally would for like a camp. But that's your
probably
guys'
fine.
call.
Cold Coat is going to be too lazy to do it unless there's reason.
I assume Mackinac would probably just, because he doesn't actually sleep, right? He's kind of like pseudo shuts down. Probably just do that in like the main shop area.
Okay. So,
Go ahead, bed.
you guys go to sleep for the evening, and you wake the next day. It seems peaceful enough, and as you guys get up early in the morning, what do you want to do?
Cooking everyone a nice meal. That's
Yeah.
a good way to start the day.
I'm gonna be going around rearranging things in the warehouse, making sure everything's still in order. Parts haven't jumped off the racks yet.
Earlball is gonna check over his darts, make sure none of them are missing.
The store has
Cold-
been
cold goes
untouched,
sleeping.
breakfast begins to cook, and every dart is exactly where it should be.
Nice.
Well, after we eat, we should probably make sure of the day, since we're supposed to be meeting with our new friend.
Right, let's check the time. Oh, also, I just realized with shape water, I can like freeze water. Could there be like a cold store that we have?
You want to keep like an ice box?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, if you can magically create cold, if you can create ice, you could probably do that.
Yeah. It stays frozen for 1 hour and then it unfreezes. But I figure if I do that enough cycles.
Yeah, you might be able to pull it off. I think it would probably work until you had a time skip, and then over those days, whatever was in there would probably just go bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you step outside and ask somebody passing by in the street, they'll tell you that it is the 10th. And you know that Fovecci had mentioned a specific spot that he wanted to meet you guys, and it was for the 13th.
Oh, we didn't miss any days. That's kind of nice.
So it seems, at least for now, that you have a few days between now and then. What do you guys want to do?
Is there a newspaper, or how often does the newspaper come about?
The newspaper comes out sporadically. It's not like modern day where it kind of shows up on a schedule. It's just if something important happens. So sometimes you get one within a couple of days. Sometimes it's every day. Sometimes it's, once every 30 days. Who knows? It doesn't seem anybody's been thrown a paper today, though. You see, like, a discarded copy of yesterday's paper laying around, but that's it.
Well, if we have nothing else on the docket today, perhaps I could go down and check about those bounties.
Right? Like some company we could go with, yeah.
Yes, of course. Less criminals in town to steal our goods is probably better for us in the long run.
Alright, this is true. We could also going about just searching the town a little bit for some more scrap.
Yes, let's go in the tunnels. Perhaps today will be the day.
Might even find Earl's golden dart.
He perks up.
Was there anything that you were looking for in particular, Machiner?
I was hoping to make use of the parts we got at the auction.
Right, this is true. What were you thinking of doing? We might need to supplement you some more parts.
I don't. Illusion. I'm trying to remember now. I think I have the list here somewhere as well. We got just a bunch of junk other than the rapier and
Got some fine goods. What are you talking about?
Of course. Fine goods.
It's in
Fine
the
goods.
workshop
Where's
inventory
the
down there.
list here?
Somebody wrote it down, yeah.
I wrote it all
There
down
we
in the
go.
workshop
We
inventory.
got nuts and bolts worth 5 gold, miscellaneous iron, some powder cartridges. We've sold the rapier.
Yes.
And then what are we calling the find from the previous night? Airship.
Yeah, airship camshaft.
It's
Yeah.
already on there, yeah.
It's in that middle one, and like across from Illusion between you and Doctor.
Okay. On a side note, Illusion, if I wanted to craft armor, that would be like half the cost in terms of parts, or
I would say you're probably looking at paying about half, with the exception of maybe certain things. Like, the savings might not be as drastic for a plate armor or something like that, but for most items, yeah, it's about 50%.
okay? Because I was looking to see if I could start crafting instead of a splint mill,
Ah. Okay.
which has a base price of, I don't remember.
I think
Like
it's
a base of like 200.
Yeah. So I would say you're probably going to want 100, maybe 120 worth of parts, and then it'll come down to checks to fabricate it. And if you mess up a bunch of checks, you might lose some of those parts, that kind of thing. If you
Right.
do really
Okay.
well, then you'll cut down time on the project.
Probably just gonna spend the day looking for parts or things that could be salvaged to make parts.
Okay. So you're going to go shop around town and get parts for a set of armor.
Yeah, looking for parts for armor or like other junk that I can take apart and sort of use those parts for armor kind of thing.
Okay.
Looking for whatever.
So we can go ahead and do that before the bounty thing if you guys want. Does anybody else intend to spend some of their cash?
I don't
Just
think
like-
that, no.
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're just salvaging on the way down to the bounty area as well.
Alright. So go ahead and make for me a luck roll.
Who's feeling lucky?
13.
Mediocre. Okay. So there's a lot of shops that are kind of opening up, and you know different spots that you can go to sort through for refuse and things like that. You find that there is a blacksmith shop pretty nearby, which has essentially what are failed parts from armor sets, and you offer to purchase these up, and you'll fix them on your own and kind of put them back together into a set of splint mail. And
Okay.
he quotes you at. Wow, just rolled a fucking nat 20. He quotes you at 80 gold for the lot. And you think that this is definitely enough to at least make an attempt. And unless you botch it pretty bad, you should have enough parts here to make the armor set.
Friends, is it possible I could borrow some funds from you?
Here, let me find where my fucking. Still getting used to this. Right, I have about 15 gold I can give you.
I only require 30 additional gold pieces.
Well, if it's okay with the party, I'm sure we can take it out of our business fund. Your survival is very essential to the operation.
Those are kind words, Cold Coat.
Right, this is true.
I
It is an
agree.
investment. And hi, if anything, you'd be a walking advertisement at that point.
Yeah, very true. Showcases
It's true.
work.
Machinar's machinations, if you might say.
All right, so assuming that we use some of the workshop funds to hand over the 80 gold.
Okay. Who's keeping track of workshop funds?
It should just be right there. How much are we using of workshop funds, Relic?
30 then.
Okay.
The blacksmith hands them over to you. He seems to be keen to get rid of them, and they've just been laying around in a heap that he's been storing in a trunk nearby. You take them, bundle them up, and drop them off at the warehouse. At the workshop. You know that this project would probably take multiple days of working on it just straight in order to finish. It's a little time intensive. You could potentially have some of your allies help you with it to cut down the time, but that'll increase the chance that they mess something up.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's up to you. Now,
I'm proficient with Tinker's tools. I don't know how much I can help, but if I can just do like small parts.
I'd say that would be fine. That would be sufficient. You'll have
I
to
could
have
be a
some
cheerleader.
relevant tool set.
I'm great at cheering on my party.
That moral support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you going to check out the Bounty Boys, as Belinda put it?
I believe that's the plan.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure enough, as your group collects itself once more and heads back out, it's maybe past noon. Lunchtime has kind of come around, and there's plenty of people here and there in the city. And your directions soon take you towards the lower portions of Vossenox, where life becomes a little bit more quiet. There's that upper landing where all the airship parts have been sold and everything, and not a lot of people know this, but that's kind of like a false bottom to the city. It really resembles the bottom floor, but if you take some of the side passages, some hallways that you guys know about, it leads you into a little catacomb-like structure underneath, and it's down there that you eventually wind up outside of the building, which seems to be the one that was indicated to you. The building in front of you is partially building and partially rock structure. It looks kind of like somebody has taken a cave and just put up like a ramshackle wall in front of it. There is a simple open sign that you can see in the window, a door, and that's pretty much it, and a wall. Like that's the whole shebang. There's nothing else to it. There isn't even a sign that says what the business is, necessarily. It's just, they're open. You guys would
Well,
be...
friends, I have to say, it actually looks better than I thought it would.
Right. Yeah, shady is as shady does.
I didn't expect the sign, that's for sure.
That's true.
Well, let's, is there an actual door on the building?
Mhm.
Well, let's, I guess, see if someone's home. And I'll walk up and knock on the door.
Kind of like this. Tapping on the door, you hear somebody who calls from behind it and says, "Yep, we're open. Come on in."
I will open the door and step inside.
I will go follow behind him.
It's like a very simple lobby where the majority of the walls have been simply left the way that they are, being these rock faces. But here and there, especially towards the back end of the room, you can see what looks to be another fabricated wall. And there's actually a little bit of furniture in here as well. There's like a little desk that comes up from the wall there, and there's some doors back here. Somebody stands behind the counter, and he seems to be the one that's called over towards you guys.
Greetings.
Are you guys headed in as well?
Yes.
I think we're all heading in, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gives you a look and he goes, "Hey, what can I do you guys
Yeah.
for?"
I think the question might be, what can we do for you? We heard some rumblings of bounties on criminals.
That's my business. Yep. And? Yeah, you see he looks over your shoulder like he's staring outside to see what's going on out there, and then kind of turns back towards you.
Oh, are we? Yeah, we're supposed to be inside as well. Yeah. Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Guess close the door behind us.
Sure. When you guys all finish filing in and close the door, he goes, "Oh, so you're not bringing any back right now? Okay. Well, what can I do for you?"
Well, I guess I'd like to know who the bounties are on.
That depends. You got any papers?
No, do you have any papers?
I see.
What?
Very well. You see he moves a bunch of stuff on his desk and kind of clears away some parchment that he has there and kind of pushes like an inkwell to the side. He pulls out from the desk there what looks to be like a little triangle of wood, and you can see on it that it says Mr. Falone, and he says, "This is Falone's Bounty Service. We're mostly local contractors here. You guys are coming by looking for bounties. I take it you're looking to sign up."
Well, I suppose we do need to do that if we're going to actively hunt bounties in the city.
Yes, yes. Now,
How do you spell Mr. Falone?
there you go.
Okay.
He says, "Well, the first thing I need to ask you is, are any of you members of the city guard?"
Not since I last checked. Any of you guys? Did you join up recently? I don't think so.
Right now,
No.
oh, it's too much armor.
Perfect. We operate in the city, and let's just say we take care of targets for them at a discount. So you guys are not officially working with them, and if you run into them in the street, you're just independents. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I suppose we will get some kind of paperwork, right?
Enough, yeah. So, I gotta ask you boys, how did you hear about me? What brings you to, Falone's?
Well, my friend here, we were attacked in an alley and killed one of those filthy thugs. Threw a dart right in his eye.
He gives you a look there, Erlebald.
It is true. That's all
He's
there
the
is to
best.
say.
He's the best with darts.
Okay,
A master of his craft, you might say.
I've seen stranger. Alright, so you take this man out, then what?
Well, then he died and his friends ran away.
I asked how you heard about me. Do you have a note with my, name on it or something?
Yeah, one of the locals suggested if we were interested in bounties, then perhaps this was the place to go.
Oh, somebody who knows my work. Perfect, perfect. Okay, well, we could start you guys off on something like that. Looking to clean up the streets, huh? Well, you're gonna be
Well.
junior members, so I'm not gonna be paying you too much. Or, for some city thugs like that, I've got plenty of contracts. Looking at maybe... Let's see... Pay you a total of, 5 silver for each head. Starting wage, how's that?
Oh, a man's life is not worth much these days anymore.
Not these kind of men, nope.
Would we be able to negotiate something other than coin?
You see he grumbles at this, and he says, well, what do you have in mind? Down for talking.
Well, you probably may have heard up above there was a bit of an auction earlier.
Just
If
the
you
other day,
find-
yeah, big thing.
Yeah, if there's any scrap parts laying around that you might notice, you find are of some worth.
Oh, you boys are one of those, what is it? Those junkers from up top, right?
Salvagers.
Right, yeah. I don't mess with any of that, but, I've definitely got a few contracts for people that have stolen some things from yesterday. That's for sure.
Right.
I mean, if you are looking to take their possessions, I have no problem with that. Whatever you find on them is yours.
Right, that's very interesting.
Even junior members are at least afforded that.
Well, I feel like the ability to salvage and perhaps find more goods for our business, that's probably more than enough. That and, well, if information if you hear anything about anyone who might be involved in that kind of theft.
Perfect.
And also, it's our industry, so we want to keep it safe.
Okay, well, we might as well get you boys signed up then. You see he starts to rifle in his desk, and he pulls out 4 pieces of parchment, and they seem to have some stuff pre-written on them. He scribbles on each of them in a very quick manner, and eventually turns them towards your group, giving you the inkwell and the pen there, and he says, well, just throw your names down on the dotted line, and we can go about getting you some contracts.
I'll take the pen and sign my name.
Okay?
Likewise.
Same here.
Yeah, Erlebald does the same.
After signing them up, he gives them a look, flipping through the papers, and then eventually kind of stacks them away and puts them back into the desk. He looks back at you all and goes, pleasure doing business with you. I've got a few others in the city, a rough dozen of men out there. To make sure that you guys don't get into any trouble with them, and to kind of keep the guard off your back, we're going to have to get you some proper documentation. He starts
Yes,
to kind of pull around and eventually turns back to you, and he takes out what looks to be like even smaller pieces of parchment, and he writes some stuff down on them and puts them into a like a little envelope. He doesn't bother to wax seal it, but you each get an envelope of bounty hunter papers for Mr. Falone.
Okay. Then to the inventory.
If you read it, the papers seem to be pre-stamped. They have a seal on it of some kind that you don't really recognize. It's definitely not like a sigil that you're familiar with, but it looks Aurelian, like distinctly. It makes sense for the region. And you can see that it details you as being of the lowest rank, of which you can see there are a couple that are above you there, and permits you to do bounty hunting within the city. It looks semi-official.
All right, don't go around flaunting it.
Like, it looks real enough, but at the same time, any of you guys would be kind of like, you know, like this is not exactly the same as like pedigree papers for a noble or something like that.
Mm-hmm. There's an air about them lacking.
Yeah, it's a little clandestine looking. That being said, after he gives them to you, he goes, right on. Well, these are the current ones we're looking out for right now. We've got a couple of gangs here. There's one in town, and I got one that's actually rumored to be out in the jungles nearby, if you guys are doing any traveling.
I don't think we're traveling anytime in the next few days, but perhaps something to keep in mind for future.
Well, whatever floats your boat. Not really sure what they made off with, but guard actually seems to want the ones that are outside of town pretty badly. As far as the other guys, they're small fry. A couple of thieves. You can find them midway up in the city there.
Right, would you be able to give us the name for the ones that are outside the city? Just to keep in the back of our mind.
Yeah, they're called the Jackknife Gang. A bunch of highwaymen. Guards have been looking for them. Roughly about a dozen, I think it was. Though, who knows? Going out into the jungle. They might be dead by now.
I don't think they'd be going out there if they didn't have more of them for protection.
Be surprised. When you're desperate and on the run like that, you do stupid things.
Fair enough. These two thieves in town, did you happen to have names on them?
Thieves in town, they go by the name the Back Alley Thieves. Not really original, but, you know, it's kind of how it is. I think they're a younger group.
Well, if that's the only two for now, you can always find us at Catman Robotics, but in the higher quarters. But we'll come back and check if we complete these jobs, or perhaps to see what else might be out there.
Right. So, so you can get paid, and so I can get paid. You're gonna have to bring proof back, right? You guys are new to this whole bounty hunting biz. We got something we like to call mementos or trophies you're gonna need to collect.
Well, do you want like their head or something?
Right on. That's exactly it. So if you could collect those and bring them back, that way I'll actually be able to pay you.
Bring the heads. Got it.
And make sure you're getting one of those thieves, because if you bring back a head for somebody the guard knows is an upstanding citizen, you can count those memberships to be expiring pretty soon.
Please, Mr. Furlong, do we look like a stupid group to you? We won't make that mistake.
Earl of Bald stands there silently fiddling with his dart.
I just picture him standing there, just like eyebrows going up and down as he's staring at the balloon.
Flown diplomatically doesn't say anything to that immediately. He says, I'm sure you guys will be just fine.
We aim to stay that way. But, so Back Alley Thieves and Jackknife Gang, which were the ones specifically that may have made off with some of that their mugging goods?
There's no way to tell. Been a lot of thievery that's been going on in the city since yesterday. Not really sure which groups got what. Now, if the guards are really looking after this jackknife gang, I'd say they're probably the ones that made off with something important. That, or they committed some pretty bad crime. I don't know. As far as the thieves go, well, they're offering a little bit of money here and there, but it's not much. Perfect entry work for a bunch of newbies, though.
Right. And if it's not too much to ask, any leads as to where we might find these back alleys?
Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas. You see he pulls out a city-wide map, which is a really convoluted thing because it's like layers and layers, and you can see that the city's not even really represented perfectly on the map because it's more vertical than anything. But he points out a couple of areas, and they're pretty sporadic. If this is to be believed, after he's pointed these out, these guys are all over the place. But you do note that one of the spots that he points to was where you guys were mugged last night.
Right, hey, I know that spot.
Yes, that was the people that attacked us.
Well, play your cards right, you might be able to get some revenge. Make some money too at the same time. Look, I don't know exactly how many of these guys there are, or how spread out they might be. If you're lucky, get one of them to talk, maybe find the rest of their friends. Guard will still pay you, by the way, if you bring them in alive. There's no extra reward, so it's up to you guys. I don't judge.
Right, we'll keep it in mind.
Well, I think we should probably head back to the spot they attacked us.
Well, time's a-wasting. You guys better get out there.
Indeed it is, Falone. Thank you for the business.
See you soon. Don't get killed out there.
Alright, you stay safe too.
He gives you a wave, and are you guys headed outside?
Yes.
Yes.
Have a good one, Boss Fowl.
With a smile, the door closes behind your group, and you make your way out into the streets. It's pretty quiet down here. In these cavernous areas, there's not a lot of people willing to kind of live and brave the dangers, or at least the rumors of what can be found in this part of the city. Where do you guys want to go?
Well, the tracks might still be fresh enough if we head back where they attacked us. Probably the best lead we've got right now.
Yeah, might want to go speak to Belinda again. See if she knows where we might find some more of them. Or we can even just spread hot air and just try diving around in some dumps and just start spouting that we found the next big thing. Could work too.
Ah, yes, a good idea. But you forget I am a ranger, an expert tracker. I'm sure I can find them.
Perfect. Lead on, Sir Cat.
So I will head over to where we got attacked.
Once again, the evening is coming around, and you guys go much at the same time to the same place where you guys had been before. As you're traveling up the different walkways and through the different hallways of Bostonux, you can see that different lights are starting to kind of turn off in different areas as the city begins to darken and get ready for some rest. However, things never fully turn off down here, and there's a little bit of light from like one or two houses here that still have their windows cracked to some bit, letting a bit the stray ambience kind of like roam throughout the dirt streets. When you get back to that spot, you find that the body is no longer there, nor is there really any evidence that anything has happened other than a small area where there's still some specks of dirt that have been darkened by the blood. If you weren't knowing what to look for, you would probably miss it.
So when we get here, do I remember the directions they ran off in?
They split into three directions, north, west, and south, and all just booked it into the closest alley they could get a hold of.
Because I'd like to just start looking around all three and see if there's anything I can pick up on.
Sure.
As far as where they might have gone.
Go ahead and make for me a survival check. track them.
Okay. And so humans are one of my favorites, so that'd be advantage, eh?
Absolutely, yeah.
21.
Okay. There's a set of tracks here, and you pick one of them and just follow it. And the tracks go for some time down an alleyway, and you guys are all kind of staying in tow with Coal Coat here, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a whole city block away do the tracks end as you see what looks like a bunch of scuffs on a building nearby where somebody must have ran and then essentially scaled up a building here. And you have to decide whether or not you actually want to go up there or not. But it seems that they've used like the door frame and then a windowsill to get up onto the roof of this building.
Yes, climb the building.
Okay, make an acrobatics check for me.
Oh no. 5.
You leap up, grab a hold of the door frame, and the whole thing seems to budge for a brief second, and you get that moment of like, oh no, right before the branch in the tree snaps, and a piece of the door frame comes falling off, and you tumble to the ground, and you hear a bunch of ruckus from in the house, and somebody kind of like yelling from past the wood, just like, I told you fucks the other day to get off my house.
I'm next to him on the ground immediately. Don't move. You may have injuries.
I
And
think I'm
move
okay, Mackinac.
your fingers.
And I'll wiggle my fingers on both hands.
The door opens up, and you see an elderly man there standing in the doorway. He's maybe like 55, 60, something like that, and he has a cane and a somewhat limp leg there. And with his free hand, he shakes it at you guys, and he goes, You guys, messing around with my house again.
No, sir. We're trying to catch the man that messed with it the first time.
I'd like you to make a persuasion check, please. And given
While
that you're
that
holding a part
happens-
of his door frame, I'd like you to do so at disadvantage.
While that happens, can I try and see if Colt has a concussion?
Yes. Make a medicine check.
Oh.
It's a 23.
23. He doesn't have a concussion, and he seems to be okay, but he does have some minor abrasions and has kind of, scratched himself here and there. The elderly man, however, does not seem to be buying this at all. He steps out of his house for a brief moment, and he pulls something from behind the wall where you can't see, and you realize it's a wooden clog, a wooden shoe, and he throws it at you. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, Colcoat.
My dex 16.
You move out of the way, and the wooden shoe clatters on the dirt ground there, and then comes to rest by another house there. And he says, I'll call the guard.
Sir, wait. I apologize. Let us pay for the door. Here, and I'll take out a gold and try to hand it to him.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yes, see, we're not the bad guys here. I apologize. And I'll go pick up his shoe for him and bring it back and hand it to him.
Okay. He takes the gold piece and takes the shoe back, but he continues to hold it in his free hand, just as though he wants to keep a weapon close. Alright, well, you guys get out of here then.
May I ask if you know who the men were, or perhaps where they went, and then we can leave you alone?
Don't know, just last night heard a bunch of bumping around on the house, got up, then it was on the roof, and then heard one of my neighbors over there start yelling as well, and luckily
do you know
that
which
was the
direction that was in?
Yeah, it's that house right there. And you see he kind of like points down the road at the house next to him, and you can see that there's actually like a broken lantern like next to that house, as though somebody stepped on the it's like a little a little wooden overhang area right by the door that would hold onto a lantern, so you'd have like a light outside, and somebody had stepped there as a foothold, and it snapped, and the lantern's like still kind of broken.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and sorry again for the trouble.
You guys wouldn't happen to have any other spare coin or anything, would you?
I'll just kind of shrug at him.
Alright, well, it's worth a try. And he kind of like shuffles back into the house and closes the door.
So I guess we'll start trying to follow the path of house destruction.
Okay. So going over to the next house, you can see that somebody has scaled over this one too. And it becomes apparent that there's more than one abode that has had like its upper portions used as a jungle gym. I'd like you to make another survival check to continue following this guy.
Oh wait,
3 dice. Oh my god.
2 of them were stacked.
Extra
There we
ranger.
go. 19.
Okay. Excuse me. You find, once again, like a boot print over here, and then another little broken piece of wood over there. And eventually, it's led you towards one of the walls of the city. You've passed by enough buildings now that you've come up to the actual rock wall where most of the supports and different levels of the city kind of are built into. And by this wall here, you can see that there's a what looks to be a treehouse almost that has been boarded into the wood. And it's very much like Mr. Falone's house, where it's like it's almost just like a constructed wall in front of a cave. There's a bunch of rungs of a ladder which have been just bolted into the rock itself. Like somebody had taken a piece of metal and had just like smashed it into the rock repeatedly to give you handholds to get up there. And the tracks seem to end at the base of this ladder.
Well, I think we found where they may have run to. House up on the wall. That's a new one. Are you up for some climbing, friends?
If you intend to climb, you should be very careful. Fall from more than a few feet could injure you.
Yes, I do not want to get a concussion.
Neither do I. It would be very dangerous for you.
I'm always up for a bit of a
Maybe.
climb. And if you're worried about safety, I can help you make some footholds. Can I use like mold earth to start like making some like better like footholds, like pull it out?
Can you mold earth with solid rock?
Oh, not really. I can choose stone or dirt and cause it to become difficult terrain, so I can make it worse.
Right. Okay. I'd say that you could probably manipulate the wall a little bit, but it would definitely be slower going than if you were doing it with like dirt or gravel.
Mm-hmm. Just like taking a minute to like just make some like proper like handholds, just a little bit, a little bit better than what they were. Just kind of pulling it out a little bit.
Okay. So, if you're gonna go ahead and do this, are you doing so stealthily?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like you to make a stealth check, please, to mold rock without making any noise.
Interesting. Okay. That's an 11.
There's a slight crackling as the rock wall here seems to change a little bit underneath the hand of Gaius' kind of like druidic magic. You watch as this becomes more and more an appropriate ladder leading up to the thing. It's worth mentioning it's about 10 feet off of the ground.
Oh. Right, should we just climb it then?
Yes, I suppose. Let's see who's inside. I guess I'll. Is this it here?
Hmm?
I guess I'll carefully walk up and start trying to climb.
Okay. Are you being
Stealthily.
stealthy as well?
Yes, as stealthy as I can.
Make a stealth check, please.
Oh, whoops. Oh, goodbye, days. Fell into the grass.
Oh. Not bad.
My stealth is a... Oh, good, 19.
Okay. You get up to the final rung there, where your head is right at the base of the door. And from past the door, you can actually hear that somebody is inside. And likewise, you can see a little bit of light that sort of peers through the door's cracks here and there, betraying that somebody is inside doing something.
I'm gonna look down at everybody and just kind of try to motion as well as I can, like they're in there.
Sure.
And for now, I guess I'm just gonna listen, see if I can kind of get an idea of how many and what they're doing.
Sure. Before you make that perception check, what are you three doing while Coco's like hanging from the rock wall and has his ear on the door?
Getting ready to catch him should he fall.
Yeah.
Position right down
like
here.
like arms like outstretched like under him, just like going a little bit right, a little bit left.
Okay. How about the other two?
Probably looking to get ready to climb myself, just for like when Colcoat gives the go ahead.
Okay.
Just dart out. You know, Earl of Bald.
Make a perception check, Colcoat.
For
Okay.
10.
There's a conversation happening from past the door, and you can tell that it's with multiple people, but you can't tell how many, nor can you tell what it is that they're talking about. The conversation seems to be not of like an angry tone, but contemplative, like they're discussing something serious.
Sorry, 2 seconds.
Mhm.
So this building is kind of shoddy, right?
Yes, it's like a little cavern in the wall that somebody has built, or sorry, a little cavern in the rock face that somebody has built a wooden wall in front of to make a room.
So if I used, say, fog cloud and centered it like around the front here, would it like seep in and get a bit in the house, and then if I like burst the door open, like fog would come in?
Yeah, I'd say so. It'll try and rush into whatever space it can get to. However, you can't cast it half inside and half outside. I'd say you would definitely need access to like the inside or whatever. Does it say a space with which, like a space that you can see?
20-foot radius sphere of fog centered on a point within range. Spreads around corners.
Oh, just a point within range. So I would say that you could summon that inside there if you wanted, or outside, but it's not going to filter into both until the door is open, or a window or something.
Oh, do you put it inside then? I want to do a fog cloud inside and then see if I can open the door. Well, I guess, can I just... I guess I'm do one of there. I'll put the fog cloud inside and then try to go in the door.
Okay. You make
I
this...
can help with the kicking in the door.
Are you sharing any of this info, Colcoat?
Yeah, you know what? Before I guess I'll come. It's only 10 feet up, you said, right?
Mhm.
Okay, well I'll just kind of slide down and just inform everyone. Look, there's a bunch of them in there. I can't quite hear what they're saying, but put a fog cloud inside. We'll burst in. See if we can catch them alive. If they attack us, then well, you know what happened.
Right, that sounds a little bit edgy, but you know what? I like it. It's sound good?
Sounds a bit edgy. You guys haven't even seen Monday Group.
Right.
I think we're good. Mackinacs are ready to catch me. Earl's got darts. Let's do this.
Gaius, I'd like you to make a stealth check as you whisper with Coalcoat here.
All right.
Do you want me to roll?
Oh. Oh no.
That's a 4.
When you go back up the ladder, Coalcoat, before you cast a spell, you notice something. There's no sound from past the door. The conversation has stopped. And it stopped pretty abruptly. Like they were chatting about something just a moment ago, and they were pretty excited about it, and now dead silence.
I think they heard us. Quick, act now!
Okay.
I don't know if I want to do the fog cloud now because I need to see what's in there. Can I try to open the door?
Sure.
Can I also be up there with him?
You reach for the handle and go to open the door. As you turn the thing, the door opens 1 inch before a small chain on the other side halts the movement of the door. And you hear a call from the other side. Fuck's going on? And the voice that calls out is definitely one of the boys that you had heard from the previous day in that group that had mugged you.
Fog cloud.
Okay. A fog cloud is produced into the room there, and at this point, I think I need everyone to roll initiative.
I hope someone can first shoot that door.
Vigilantism.
Oh my god.
No.
These guys are not having a good day. This might go badly. Okay, your first Coalcoat. As you're over here by the door, you summon up the fog cloud, and something happens. Your hand is pushed back as somebody slams against the door and closes the thing shut. What do you want to do? It's your turn. You can hear people scuffling around and moving here and there within the room. One seems to run like way off to the side. Another one sounds like he's just on the other side of the door. There's a whole bunch of excited movement inside.
Like if I push on the door, are they trying to barricade it?
Somebody has slammed the door on you. If you try to push on the door, you find, yeah, it doesn't open. Somebody's pushing against it from the other side. You could definitely try and strength check your way through if you wanted, but that'd be up to you.
And did you say there were any windows at all?
There is a single window on this side right here. I'll put in a little blue so that you can see it. And from the, like around the panes of that window and the door itself here, a bunch of the fog cloud is starting to like seep out and slowly kind of wisp out in different areas.
How far away is it from me?
The window? You could just like lean over and grab it with your hand. It's not far away at all.
And does it have like a glass in it, or is it just open?
Yeah, it's a single pane of glass with like a little wooden fixture around it so you could open or close it.
Can I try to open that?
Sure. Grab onto it there, and I'll roll luck for you. Nobody has locked it. It just opens up outwards as you grab onto it.
I would like to try to like slither in through the window.
Okay. It's not a very large window, but you can definitely try. Make for me another acrobatics check, I'd say.
13.
You open this window here, and then go about getting through the thing, and you kind of like muscle your head and one of your shoulders through, and then kind of get stuck halfway in through the window. And you guys outside can see what looks like the lower half of Coalcoat hanging out of the window, and there's a bunch of fog kind of like pushing around him and seeping into the outside area. And it looks like he's kind of trying to push with his legs, and he can't quite get through.
Oh god, someone shoved me!
Your head is now in a room filled with fog, and you can hear people talking and running around. You hear the sound of somebody pulling like a blade from a scabbard, but you can't see anything.
I keep trying to free myself, and do I have an action?
I would say that you could try another attempt at getting through the window, but it will cost your action.
Yeah, this is not a good position.
What
I'll
are you
use what I've got left to try to get through.
Okay. Go ahead and make for me a. You can make another acrobatics roll.
17?
This time, a small part of the window breaks, and you tumble and fall into the room.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of crouch in the corner, and that's my turn.
Okay.
Gun
Next up,
ready now at this point.
who's green? I need to put your guys' names on here.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's rather.
Damn it.
Macknar. With no H, I think? Yeah. Macknar, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
Mackinac.
Have I heard these sounds of potential combat from up above?
Yes, there's people running around in there. You just saw Colcoat got like pushed back from the door, and then in response he opened up the window and shimmied through gracefully.
Did I hear him, kind of like fall through the window?
Yes.
Oh no, he might have a concussion. I'm going to activate my Titan Furnace
Mm-hmm.
and attempt to get in as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Probably going in through the main door. Like, does the main door look like something that could be broken down?
Quite possibly, yeah. Do you want to try and smash through it?
I would.
Okay.
I'm going straight in. Colcoat's in danger. He might have a concussion. Might have
Strength check.
might have a cut from the glass. Who knows?
It's not Catman Robotics if the cat dies.
Precisely. It's a just straight strength.
Yes.
That would be a 16. I don't think the Titan Furnace gives me any strength stuff.
I'd say it's definitely enough to break this flimsy door, but you are in a contested check against the guy holding it from the other side. He rolls a 11. You go smashing through this door here to see, for a brief moment, like the piece of wood flying around and a humanoid shape on the other side before a whole bunch of fog, which is like basically compressed into this area, just comes rushing out towards you and completely clouds your vision. But you can tell that you've pushed an enemy into like the back of the room, and that the door is now very much so broken.
Okay, I'm going to keep moving forward. Like, can I see anything at this point?
Not in the room, no.
Okay. Colcoat, are you all right?
Shh. Get the thieves. I'm okay.
Are you sure? It
Yes.
sounded like a hard.
You
Okay.
can check me out after. I appreciate the concern. Get the thieves.
I'll trust Colcoat's judgment for the moment and attempt to identify and attack the nearest enemy.
Okay, make an attack at disadvantage, please.
Oh boy. It's not great. What is that going to be? 6 plus... It's 12?
12, okay. You swing out, hearing that there's somebody nearby, the one that you had pushed away from the door. How are you attacking? What are you using here?
Using my mace cogwheel.
Right, okay. You swing this and feel it connect with somebody. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, now with the Titan Furnace, I get a +2 to damage, right? Or plus...
It should
It's
say
plus
on the
something.
page. I don't remember off the top of my
I
head.
think it's a +2. I was just looking at it.
Weapon damage by 2. So... Oh, I rolled 6. Sweet. That's 12 damage.
12 damage. You hear the sound of bones breaking and somebody tumbling backwards, then the sound of wood snapping and a bunch of other people kind of yelling. Somebody goes, "Kill him!"
As I, strike this person, please, if you surrender, we will not harm you.
The general atmosphere in the room does not seem to have calmed much.
I don't understand why not.
Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
Okay. Erlebald, or either of you who wants to go first.
Air the ball can go first. What?
So he can't spot any enemies from the room. Can he throw a dart through the door into the smoke cloud and try to see if he can stick someone?
Sure, yeah. Make an
There's
attack.
also something called the hold that held action.
Well, when would the fog cloud clear?
Fog cloud lasts for what, like 10 minutes or
An
something?
hour.
An hour.
But it's concentration, so if I get hit and take damage, well, if I fail to save, it'll go away.
Yeah. So to give you an idea, you're staring at a rock wall, right? You're like at the base of a mountain kind of thing. And 10 feet up from like a rocky ladder made of metal and stone, there is like just a wooden wall that has now a broken window that your friend had fallen through, a door that has been flung open, and there's the sound of combat in there, but all that you can see is like fog rushing out from the thing, out into like the evening air.
Alright, yeah, so he's gonna walk up to the entrance.
Sure.
And then he's gonna try to hear out an enemy, throw his dart. The dart aims true. This would... Yeah, it'll be with sharpshooter. Sharpshooter's just so good.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
Oh, that's 17 plus something.
You think you hear one towards the back end of the room. Make an attack with disadvantage.
That'd be a 21 total. And then my attack. Yeah, that's a 4.
Okay. You send off
Roll
this shot
double
and
twos.
fling it into the foggy room back there, and then hear the sound of a vase breaking.
Unfortunate end turn.
Gaius, you're up next. What do you want to do? Uh-oh.
All right, everyone's inside.
Yeah,
going to
your
rush.
friend Erlebald is kind of in the doorway, and the rest seem to have made it into the house somewhere.
Is there any way to squeeze through?
I would say potentially. You might knock over Erlebald if you do so. Unless you wanted to try the window like your feline friend had done.
I'm gonna try to squeeze past Erlebald, and if someone tries to like come towards me, I want to have my primal savagery ready.
Okay. You go and try and force yourself past Erlebald. Make an athletics check. And Erlebald,
Maybe
I need you to make
acrobatics?
for me a dexterity saving throw.
Well, that's an unfortunate roll. That's a 9.
Okay.
To be fair, that's a 7.
Okay. You get up there and try to push past, and as you do, you find
That's a
that
6, actually. Sorry.
the best place to kind of get past is like through his legs there, as his torso takes up most of the doorway. And as you're pushing past Erlebald, you try and like move back and end up kind of pushed against the door frame. And then when you reach to grab back onto the thing, you slip and fall off and land on the ground.
Oh no, buddy. I'm sorry.
You take 4 damage as you land onto the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn. Oh no.
Gaius, you've made it into the room, but you're prone laying on the ground. There's fog everywhere. You can hear people running around. And after, like, kind of making it into the room, landing with a thud, just, like, less than a second later, you hear, like, a poof outside.
Oof. Right, sorry! Is there any, like, do I still have my action?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And I still have a bonus action too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
for bonus action, I'm gonna use my spirit totem, and I'm gonna bring up the spirit of the bear.
Okay, I don't know what that does, but it sounds badass.
Everyone in my aura, which should be for 1 minute, is a 30-foot radius. So I'm just gonna focus it on me, I guess.
Okay, yeah, for
Um,
sure.
All of my allies in my aura gain 5 plus my druid level, so 7 temporary hit points, and we all have advantage on strength checks and saves.
That would have
Well,
been handy
no.
a while ago.
Yeah, but I also somehow wound up being the last in order.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone has 7 temp HP.
So you guys get some buffs there, and just as soon as you've like cracked your back on the stone floor there, Erlebald, a wave of like druidic magic comes washing out. Oh, there.
Wait, sorry.
And hits you, and you can feel it kind of protecting your person. And unfortunately, right before we get to the enemy turn, my internet is about to explode, as I had mentioned from before. So we're going to take a break. It might be an extended one. I don't know how long these people are going to take to get the internet fixed. So, sorry about that. Stream is almost surely going to go down during this time. We'll be right back up, though. So, we'll be back in a few, guys.
My bad.
You guys, don't worry. I have the perfect thing to make this situation a lot better.
I thought I did too.
Oh
I
no!
went last.
Don't worry.
Uh-oh.
I got something good.
Oh. What did you say the bear thing gave me?
7 temp HP.
7?
Yep.
Whoa, that's a lot of HP. Oh shit, I can't copy these. Can I drag it? I don't want to hear.
I am going to turn off stream right now, because I know it's going to go down in a moment anyway. Just an FYI. And I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some tea, might as well.
Yeah.